Majorly. I mean and I think we kind of say that in the book is that he had some accurate observations, and whether it was whether his proposed solutions came from a place of naivete or of vitriol or of envy or of anger or of stupidity. I don't know. Was it a blend of all of them? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I mean, these solutions speak for themselves. It's like how many deaths, how much economic devastation, how much backwardation, like how much of all of that does one need to sort of see in order to be, like to be to be shown like the evidence of how wrong this kind of thinking is. So I don't know. Maybe he needed to have a mushroom trip and sit inside a steam room and feel the difference between the strata.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe at some point it mattered his motivations, but at this point, how much evidence could we possibly have for anything else? It's, I think, the most failed social experiment in history is implementing those economic policies. Um, I'll read one more excerpt here, which
One thing
is,
I'd say just to hit on that just real
yeah,
quick is again, understanding when this was written. So this really came out just after the turn of the Industrial Revolution. And again, I mean, if you go back and study history, you realize that really all of the wealth of the world really came about through the Industrial Revolution. It wasn't until we had machines that could free men that we could kind of have this. And so really, as soon as the Industrial Revolution happened, we needed new ways to mobilize capital. We didn't need ways to mobilize capital. As a matter of fact, when it was just farming cultures, all the money stayed within just that ecosystem. It wasn't until we were freed up to do that, then we started more trade. And then through the Industrial Revolution, all of a sudden we freed people up. We had this massive expansion of trade. And then we came into a new problem. How do we mobilize the capital? And so then it was, well, we have capitalism, we have communism, and we have fascism. And these are like the three economic models that we have today that we had in the last 250 years to mobilize this capital. And so I think maybe the world was, I don't know, I hate trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but do we have a command economy, right? Communism, fascism, or do we have a free economy, capitalism? And of course, today we have the benefit of hindsight. But it was interesting. I always like to try to go back and kind of imagine where he was when he wrote this.
that's a great point. And he was in the lower economic strata as well. So you wonder how much maybe there was mm, some hate or something built into it, right? Or he was upset, like we were saying earlier, that it's easier to sell people the idea that people above them in the hierarchy acquired it unjustly. So maybe Marx sort of convinced himself that that was the case. I don't know. He was wrong about a lot of things economically. So maybe this.
He actually came from a well-off family, but we had talked about this, I think, in the first episode. But he wanted to write philosophy, which nobody valued at the time, and so I think he was mad that he couldn't take care of his family and provide for his family with the skills or the desires that he wanted to do, versus being forced to provide something to the market that he didn't want to do. And so that's where it's like, well, hey, why can't I just do what I want to do, each according to their ability? Why can't I just do what I do? You do what you do, and then let's just all share that. And I think it was more of that angle.
So he's just a couple hundred years too early.
Yeah, you had made the point in to that point. You had made the point, I think, in one of our first episodes that it was actually capitalism that allowed him to have the market value what it is that he wanted to offer. He just didn't
Yeah.
know it yet.
Yeah.